Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 18 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As you can tell, I've been doing my very best to really finally get back on track with daily uploads. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit sporadic. I was on spring break, I think 2 weeks ago, and then obviously when I went to Sydney to commentate internationals about a month and a half ago, both of those really took some time off. But yeah, I'm really doing my best now to get back into things, and it's been a lot of fun using this team. Of course, I am still using the Trick Room Hail team, which I'll use probably for another week or so, and I've been doing 3 games per episode. It seems like you guys have been enjoying that, so I will probably stick with that, at least for this team, since games go, like, they don't take too long. But we're going to go up against a raid team right away for our first game of today's episode. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it, and thank you guys so much just in general for all the love recently. Like, I've tweeted about this, but I really do read all the comments in the comments below, and you guys are always just, like, so positive and nice, and so really appreciate the support as always, and it really makes this worth doing. So, the rain team composition that we're going up against today is a pretty standard one. These 6 Pokemon are seen pretty often, and rain in general is of course a pretty strong archetype. Surprisingly, I don't think this team has had too many like big tournament finishes in the more recent like regionals and internets, but it's still definitely really scary to go up against. So, you know, Polyludi for the rain combo, Goth Mawile for the Trick Room combo, Incineroar, buffed even now because of the Intimidate, and then Bulu. So let's see how I want to approach this. Mimikyu is going to be essential, definitely. Unfortunately, this is probably not a match for poor Glaceon. Staraptor plus Mimikyu is probably actually pretty solid here with the Bomb Snow in the back, and oh, this is kind of tough. I think both Incineroar and Snorlax could be pretty good. I actually might decide to lead Incineroar instead, yeah, with the Bomb Snow and Snorlax. So I'm going to go with my typical 4. Reason being is because my Staraptor does get stopped by multiple things, right? The Fake Out from the Ludi, the Fake Out from the Incineroar, the Hydro Vortex from the Ludi if it has it, or just any water type attack in general. Someone actually made a really good suggestion, which was Lucario with Choice Scarf instead. And I think that's actually pretty interesting because, of course, it does get inner focus, so you can't fake it out. So I might actually try that out. I'm going to try to get one in game this weekend since I haven't been using Staraptor too much. But it's going to be Incineroar Goth for my opponent's end against my Incineroar and my Mimikyu. So, we trade Intimidates here, obviously. I do have the Z move, but I'm probably not going to want to go for that immediately. Incineroar here most likely is going to just want to go for a Fake Out onto mine, which I'm okay with, honestly. I think I actually have the better positioning right now because Goth doesn't threaten me whatsoever. So I'm actually just going to Shadow Claw the Gothitelle and knock it off. Yeah. And the reason why I'm applying pressure more towards Gothitelle is, wow, no switch outs or protects. Okay, interesting. So, no fake out either, as we are just going to see a Psychic. This could be Z Incineroar, and it could just be a double tap into the Mimikyu, which actually could be pretty scary. Unless it's Z move, I don't think he'll knock me out. And it just goes for a Flare Blitz. Okay, that's fine by me. As my Mimikyu is still revealed to be the fastest Pokemon around with the Intimidate. Yeah, it doesn't come close to knocking me out. No burn, fortunately, and I will get the knockoff successfully off against the Gothitelle, and that actually hangs on with literally like 1 HP. Slightly frustrating, but oh well. However, because I'm faster, that does give me the opportunity to just go for a... I actually could switch Mimikyu out into Snorlax. I'm actually kind of contemplating that right now. Reason being is... depends on who my opponent really has in the back. Otherwise, I could just Z-move and low-kick. That might be okay, too. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go for that. I'm going to Z-move Goth and go for a low-kick here. And I want to knock out Goth just so I can switch Incineroar out and then back in. And it does protect, fine by me. I will get the knockout there through protect, which is exactly why I did Z-move. So it would have been nicer, obviously, to just get the knockout on the first turn, because then I could have just switched out immediately, but that's still fine. Yeah, the Goth hanging on with 1 HP is slightly frustrating, but it's still okay getting that out the way. Now, the thing is, Goth isn't a big threat to me, so I could have probably focused my attentions on, like, Incineroar, but the thing is, I know I can't really knock it out quickly enough, and I'd rather knock out Gothitelle so I can swap my Incineroar out and then back in, because I think being able to intimidate my opponent's Incineroar is really important in this matchup. So, Goth will faint, despite protecting, as we'll probably just eat a Flare Blitz. Now, the first one did 82 damage, so if it gets a low roll here, I might actually survive. It'll be really close. But unfortunately not. So I don't survive, but that's okay. However, this does mean that now I am, of course, playing with slower Pokemon. which is a little bit scary. Yeah, that low kick does do a fair amount, though, and it's a jack butt Incineroar. For a second, I thought it was weakness policy, and I was like, oh, goodness. That's fine, honestly. Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, Ludi's going to come out. So the question is now, do you bring in Poly, or do you bring in the Incineroar? I guess you should probably bring in... Regardless, actually, it doesn't end up mattering, because I can just switch into a Abomasnow. So I'm actually going to just bring out my Snorlax right now. And then what I'm going to do this next turn is probably just swap as... Oh, it's actually Mawile. So no Politoed even. Interesting. Okay. Not what I expected. To be honest, Double Edge should still knock out Ludi at -1, so my opponent's got to fake out that slot right now. I'm actually just going to go straight for the Double Edge into Ludi, and I'm just going to swap Incineroar out into Abomasnow. Pretty interesting decision for my opponent not to bring the Politoed, but it makes sense. Poly and Bulu are both quite weak against my team, so not too surprising to see neither of those make an appearance. Now, if Ludi doesn't fake out the... Like, you would imagine the fake out should go into Snorlax, mainly because I am at -2 with Incineroar. I could have stayed in and gone for a Flare Blitz, but yeah, here is where... If I get the Double Edge off, I think I will just end up winning the game, because then I could just bring Incineroar back in safely, get an Intimidate against both physical type attackers. So if this fake out doesn't go into Snorlax, I think that might just be game. But yeah, smartly enough, it does go into the Snorlax. It's going to be a double up into the Snorlax, which is the correct play, I believe. And Snorlax does take a ton of damage there, so that's not good for me. Maybe I should have just stayed in and Flare Blitzed. I could eat an Iron Head here with a Abomasnow. Most likely will. So I think the best course of action is to actually just try to self-destruct. Not that I expect to get it off. Protect, so then I get the free switch into Incineroar. Yeah. My opponent played that last turn exactly how he or she should have, so nice play there. And it's actually not looking too good for me anymore. I was really expecting Poly to be in the back. It's going to be an Energy coming out. I feel like Scald is the better option there because it covers the Incineroar option, but it doesn't end up mattering. Yeah, since Scald should knock out Snorlax anyway, that's also why I didn't switch into Incineroar. So Mawile is going to take another chip of hail damage. I do get to bring in my Incineroar now. Now we actually have some mind games. Let's see. Like, Mawile protecting is obvious. The question is, do you stay in with Ludi? Because I totally could... it could also be Z Ludi. I wonder if Z knocks me out. It probably does, even with the Assault Vest. Yeah, so the question here is, does Mawile protect and does Ludi go for the Z move? If you have Z move, you probably don't protect and you just Z move Incineroar. Which is bad for me. I think what I'm going to do is go for the fake out onto the Ludi, though, and go for a Blizzard. Yeah, I'm not in a good spot right now, actually. That eject button also threw me off. Ludi switches, too. That's a great play. Let's see if Mawile protects or not. I could have predicted this by low-kicking Incineroar. I doubt fake out plus Blizzard plus Hail knocks out Incineroar, but maybe it does. And if Mawile does protect, then maybe I'm actually not in the worst of positions. But if it doesn't, then I'll get an Iron Head off, and that'll probably just be game. So, nice switch out there. I think, yeah, my opponent has just played quite well this game. And then the Gothitelle hanging out was kind of unfortunate. Okay, so Mawile does protect, which makes this game more interesting. Especially if Fake Out plus Blizzard plus Hail can actually knock out this Incineroar. Let's see. We know it's not Assault Vested. We know it's not Buried either. I feel like this honestly should get the knockout. And if it does, that does put me in a more interesting position. That's so close. I can't tell whether that's enough to knock it out or not. Oh, come on. That's been an unfortunate game. Okay. That sucks. You gotta fake out Incineroar here, clearly. Iron Heading Abomasnow is the safe play. I should probably still protect Abomasnow, I think. Try to just Flare Blitz Mawile. I really do want a Blizzard here in case my opponent gambles and doubles up an Incineroar. I might actually gamble here. Because I'm already not in a good position, and I think a Freeze could bail me out in this game too. So there's a Fake Out. Yeah, I didn't expect the Flare Blitz to come out. It does target Incineroar as I expected, and there is an Iron Head. It does target Abomasnow. Should survive that though. Yeah. Flinch. Abomasnow does get the Blizzard off, but not the best trade there. This is going to be a tight finish to the game, though. No freeze. Yeah, I figured if I got the freeze there on Mawile, that would have instantly won me the game, so that was a risk I was willing to take. The other downside, though, is that Mawile was faster than my Incineroar, which is not looking too good for me. So, yeah, I thought Mawile would at least be slower. That part's not good. And if Ludi does have the Z move here, I pretty much just lose anyway. Yeah, I'll just Flare Blitz here. I guess I can protect Abomasnow this turn. But I think ultimately, the Pokemon being able to hang on with the sliver of HP didn't help my case. And then the double up onto Snorlax was a great play. And it is Z-move Ludi. So I didn't really have many outs here because it was Z-move Ludi. So nicely done on my opponent's end. Definitely really well played. I'm trying to think how I could have won this. I could have doubled up onto Incineroar turn 1. That actually would have put me in a really good spot. But of course, I didn't know what item it had. And at that moment, I was prioritizing knocking out Gothitelle. I also obviously could have stayed in with Incineroar and gone for the Flare Blitz onto Mawile the turn that I got doubled up into the Snorlax. But even if I Flare Blitz there, I'm still in a pretty awkward spot the next turn. So yeah, maybe setting up Trick Room could have helped as well. But yeah, Tail actually expires, so rare to see that. Matchup-wise, I think Mimikyu was really important in this game. If I knock out the Incineroar, then Mimikyu's in a good spot. But yeah, not getting that knockout on the first turn really kind of sucked. Sucker Punch here will finish up the deal. Because if I do get that knockout turn 1, then I can immediately switch out Incineroar, and you have to bring in either Mawile or Ludi. So I would probably in that position switch into the Snorlax and then switch Incineroar back in. So yeah, not being able to get Incineroar in at a good time was quite unfortunate because I had to knock out the Gothitelle, so I couldn't switch out on the first turn. So I could have also Z-moved, but I didn't want to Z-move turn 1 because Z-moving it could have actually brought Gothitelle in barrier range. So I figured Shadow Claw plus knockoff would be good enough for a knockout if something didn't get faked out, but it did literally hang on with 1 HP. So I'm curious on the damage rolls there and how defensive the Gothitelle is, since Gothitelle, you really build it either way with special defense or defense. But I am max attack on both my Mimikyu and my Incineroar. Staraptor as a lead could have been interesting, but I actually don't like it that much when I get trapped in. So, yeah. We're going to find Tyler from Idaho for our next opponent of the day, running a Gothitelle team. Gothitelle teams have actually been performing quite well. 2 of them did make it into the finals of the Portland Regional Championships, which was a pretty fun watch. It was a smaller tournament, but yeah, it did put in a lot of work there. This actually might be a game for the Glaceon. I'm contemplating it. So, let's see. The downside is I have a pretty bad matchup against Gardevoir in the sense that I can't really touch it. Or, no, I can touch it, but Hyper Voice really destroys everything I have. But Mimikyu and Incineroar honestly seems like a pretty safe lead for me. I'd like to bring Glaceon, but Snorlax just seems like a slightly better pick overall. And it's tough for me to see my opponent bringing, like, the Mungus and the Landorus. Glaceon could still be a decent call, though, honestly. I'm really thinking about it. I want to really badly. Snorlax is just a safer pick, though, because nothing, like, neutral hits everything on my opponent's team for pretty hard. Yeah, I think I'm going to play it safe here and still bring Snorlax, unfortunately. I'd like to risk Glaceon, but I don't know. In a Trick Room matchup, too, it's even a little bit tougher. Whereas my Snorlax, I think, puts on a little bit more pressure. But this is a game where Ice Beam could do really well. So in a best of 3, I would certainly consider bringing Glaceon, especially seeing what my opponent decides to bring. But we're going to get into this one. Today might just be a 2-game episode since that first game did take a while. And based off the matchups here, it looks like this game probably will take a while as well. But yeah, whenever we do have shorter games, I'll try to play 3. Anyway, yeah, I think my opponent played that last one pretty well. Matchup wasn't exactly the best. It wasn't also the worst. Mawile being faster than Incineroar definitely hurt me a little bit. It's actually going to be Incineroar and Lax coming out here, which is pretty interesting. The reason why this is interesting is because I can both go for the Will-O-Wisp and the knockoff onto Snorlax, so even if it belly drums, it's not like the end of the world here for me. But I also could just switch Incineroar out on this first turn, because it's very likely you have to fake out Incineroar in this position. So knowing that, I can just burn the Snorlax. Maybe it's worth still staying in. This is tough, because if you have Belly Drum, you probably just Belly Drum here, fake out Belly Drum. I could switch into Lax. You know what? I'm actually going to switch into Lax, yeah. I like the idea of recycling Intimidate. I'm also curious whether or not it's like min-speed Snorlax, because I don't think I'm min-speed. I remember I did it specifically so that I would outspeed min-speed Snorlax and Amoonguss. But Snorlax will come in. Snorlax actually switches out, so maybe knowing I have Will-O-Wisp into Gardevoir. That's not the end of the world there. As it is going to trace the Thick Fat. So it knows I didn't Thick Fat. Will-O-Wisp does come out. So I'm probably going to eat a Flare Blitz here, I assume. Maybe a low kick into the Snorlax slot. Or knockoff into it. Okay, knockoff into Mimikyu. That's not the end of the world. That could have played out a lot worse, honestly. The only question I have now is, I think I'm actually just gonna self-destruct here. Yeah, I'm gonna self-destruct definitely. Question is whether I Trick Room or not. Mimikyu might get doubled up into, but if it does, then I would get a double knockout on my opponent's end, and then it'd be Incineroar or Abomasnow against Snorlax plus anything that's not Incineroar. I actually have a pretty optimal matchup there. I also could eat a knockoff onto Snorlax, but that's honestly fine if I get the Never-Ending Nightmare against Gardevoir. So the only question here is, you know, my opponent seems like maybe he knows my team based off that first turn, or maybe he just, you know, didn't want to stay in. That could also make sense. I think I still want to self-destruct here, though. And I'm just going to Z-move Gardevoir. Because I don't think, like, the Incineroar slot here, it is actually going to switch out. That's a really good switch. Into Amoonguss, that's fine. Especially because I know my opponent's Pokemon now. Gardevoir does protect. Okay. So I'll still get a lot of damage off through the protect, and I should knock out Amoonguss, so honestly, it's really not the end of the world here. But it just would have been nicer if I could have knocked out the Incineroar, because that is by far the bigger threat. Yeah, my opponent's played really defensive this game, and it just paid off. Like, had I just double-edged there with Lax, that would have been a really good spot. Never-Ending Nightmare here should still do a sizable amount, though, especially because Gardevoir didn't... Yeah, like, actually did way less than I expected. But, yeah, unfortunately for me here, I will trade Snorlax for Amoonguss, and to be honest, I'd rather have Amoonguss alive this game, just because my Abomasnow checks it really, really well. As Self-Destruct actually fails to knock out Amoonguss, which actually could work in my favor. It is going to be the berry. Yep. Reason being is now I can actually bring in Abomasnow. Yeah. Could also just bring out Incineroar. I think I'm actually going to bring out Abomasnow, though, because I want to force my opponent's Incineroar to come out first. Really good place the first two turns, though. Self-Destruct did not work out quite nicely there. So that's like the downside. If your opponent expects it, knows about it, or just plays defensively, it can really backfire. Okay, so Abomasnow's in now. Outspeeds Amoonguss. Could eat a Hyper Voice up. It's not the end of the world. Totally could see Incineroar switching out here, too. Who would switch out? Amoonguss into Incineroar? Could switch Gardevoir out into Incineroar too. I think, yeah, it'd be more likely Gardevoir would switch out. So I'm going to play Rough the Gardevoir, Mega Evolve, and Blizzard. Let's see. Any switch outs? Nope. Okay. That's okay with me. Could be a double knockout here. Let's see. This will be big. I'm assuming it's Belly Drum Snorlax in the back too, but not entirely sure yet. Mega's coming out. First question is whether Amoonguss protects or not. It also could Rage Powder. Actually, it's probably likely it does Rage Powder. No Rage Powder, though. Okay. So, Hyper Voice does do a fair amount. Play Rough does connect. And Abomasnow. We'll get the Blizzard off. Okay, that should be a double knockout, I think. Nice. Okay. So that's good, especially because now I force the Snorlax to come in. Let's see, how low is my Mimikyu? I'll be close as to whether I faint from an attack like a Flare Blitz from the Incineroar. It'll be really close. I think he was probably okay with this trade, too. What do you do here if you're him? You should Flare Blitz the Mimikyu because you know I've got Will-O-Wisp. So what I want to do is actually withdraw Mimikyu out into Incineroar. So then I can fake out next turn and just Blizzard. This is kind of risky because obviously Incineroar could just Flare Blitz me, but I feel like you have to target the Mimikyu here. And me switching Abomasnow out into Incineroar is a pretty obvious play. I'm going to go for it. Getting a freeze against Lax would be really nice. This is going to be a close finish, definitely. I'm not the biggest fan of how I played this game. And my opponent did play really defensive, which worked out in his favor. It was quite good play there, too. So, yeah, I don't think I played too well today. I don't think I played, like, necessarily, like, bad either, but some tough matchups. And with Snorlax, I need to know when to click self-destruct and when to just double edge or even high horsepower. So Incineroar's going to come out. If this isn't Belly Drum Lax, too, my life gets a little bit easier. So we'll have to see. So let's first of all see if the Flare Blitz goes into Abomasnow. There is the Flare Blitz. Who is it targeting? Is that actually going to Abomasnow? Oh, wow. Nice call. That's a really nice call. I thought, yeah, surely you would have had to target the Mimikyu slot, but I guess he read into that. It is Belly Drum. Yep. Now we'll be in for an interesting finish. Because I get a Fake Out off here, and I can Will-O-Wisp. That's really bad, though. I thought you really had to target Mimikyu there. It's not what you want to see. So now the question is whether the Incineroar can knock out my Mimikyu with the Flare Blitz. Because if it can't, I could Fake Out Will-O-Wisp the Snorlax. Alright, I can actually... Oh, I'm faster anyway, yeah. I could even Fake Out and then play rough so that it's a knockoff, or yeah, low kick KO range. I actually like that more, I think. Because it doesn't have the berry at this point. Unless it has Protect. That's the one thing I have to be scared of right now. But there's no way of knowing. I'm going to assume it doesn't have Protect. Fake Out, play rough. Incineroar Flare Blitz is Mimikyu. I low kick to knock out Snorlax the next turn. It'll still come down to low kick wars, but I've got the Intimidate off against his Incineroar. And it does have Protect. Oh. That's game then. That sucks. Well played. Very well played. Yeah, I got outplayed this game definitely pretty cleanly. But yeah, since this game did end fast, maybe I can actually play a third game. Flare Blitz, let's get the knockout, yeah. I needed it not to have Protect. Oh, I mean, I could also predict it to have Protect and double up onto Incineroar, but that's like, I don't know. Most Laxes in general don't carry Protect, so that's like a risk I'm willing to take in best of one, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I could still crit low kick, I guess. I don't even think that knocks out, but a lot of good plays there. I mean, one, choosing to Flare Blitz the Abomasnow slot, when I could have switched into Incineroar, got into Will-O-Wisp off against Snorlax, and then I could have just faked out and stayed in. But I guess he actually doesn't have low kick, so if I crit low kick here against the Snorlax, maybe. But no crit. And there's frustration. So yeah, really well played here. Yeah, I'm curious as to whether my opponent knows anything about my team or not. Because he did play rather defensive, but I think the defensive also makes sense. Like, that's probably the best way to play this game anyway. So yeah, I have no idea. Really well played though, definitely. And I'm kind of like frustrated because I feel like both the games today I really easily could have, not easily could have won, but they were definitely doable. And I just didn't position myself, I'd say, too well. I didn't actually set up Trick Room either game, and I don't feel like you need to get Trick Room up this game. And it's kind of awkward going up against like slower Pokemon, like Snorlax and Amoonguss. But ultimately, yeah, he made two really good calls there in the end, protecting Snorlax, obviously. Flare Blitzing the Abomasnow, which is I'm still really impressed by, especially because it looked like that Incineroar didn't have low kick. So I really could have swapped into, like, the other play I could have made there, which I was obviously considering, was switching out Abomasnow into Incineroar, but then I can just get intimidated. I mean, the Intimidate doesn't even prevent me from getting knocked out by Flare Blitz, but he probably expected me to think that, and so he read into that. So otherwise, if I do that play, like the one I was thinking of, I get the Will-O-Wisp off against Snorlax, and I guess I'm faster anyway, so I should be making that play. But of course, Snorlax could have protected, and Incineroar could have just Flare Blitzed the Mimikyu slot. So, hindsight's 20/20. I don't know. Those felt like a bunch of 50-50s, but not as much in my favor because my opponent had had more information than me. So, another Incineroar. This is Kangaskhan, Feeny, Amoonguss, Zapdos, and Incineroar this time around. So, Yeah, I really do think I'm actually going to switch to Staraptor going forward. This really does feel like a Mimikyu Incineroar kind of game again, though. I really do want to bring Glaceon here. It's just like Snorlax always is so good, especially because it has a pretty decent matchup against the Incineroar. But you know what? I want to give Glaceon a shot. I've already lost 2. What do I have to lose? That's not the best mindset when you're laddering or playing in a tournament, but we do road to rank for fun. Obviously, I try to be educational as well. But I feel like Glaceon could actually have some decent arguments in this, especially because Cresselia is really passive, Amoonguss is really passive, Feeny doesn't do too much, especially with the Bombaston and Glaceon. And Glaceon's defense stats actually pretty high, so it can actually match up potentially against the Kangaskhan. But there's Kangcrest. Okay, so real throwback now to the older days of VGC. I'm really okay with this. I mean, I don't think I even need to go for a fake out here. Crest doesn't really threaten me that much. I could Trick Room. Yeah, Kang just really doesn't do much here. I think I'm just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp here against Kang and a knockoff against Crest. Because if I can burn Kangaskhan, then it's really not doing any damage against my team. Crest is switching out though, so it very likely could be Feeny coming in, but it's Incineroar coming out, which I'm okay with. Shiny Incineroar as well. And if Kangaskhan doesn't fake out here, I can actually get rid of a potential Assault Vest, which could be handy. It's just that this next turn is going to be really awkward. As we actually see the Scrappy fake out into Mimikyu, which is actually a really nice play there by my opponent. Prevents me from Will-O-Wisping, and it also breaks my Disguise. So, really good play there. Knockoff here. We'll get rid of Incineroar's item. It is going to be the Assault Vest. Okay. My opponent doesn't know I have Will-O-Wisp yet. I think Kang here maybe switches out. My priority right now really should be to knock out Incineroar. I'm still going to Will-O-Wisp Kang though, I think, because if I can get a burn, that would be really huge. It would also protect my Incineroar a lot more. I'm going to stay in with Incineroar here and just low kick my opponents. So it does Mega Evolve, which is good, because that means it's not going to be targeting Mimikyu. So this means that Mimikyu should be able to get the burn off successfully, which is important. But, let's see. Yeah, Kang's just going to low kick. That's fine. Yeah, that really doesn't do too much. Question of whether my opponent has low kick on Incineroar. I do get the Will-O-Wisp off, though, which is really good. If I could get a low kick off against this Incineroar, that would be really great. He's just going to Flare Blitz. Okay, nice. So that, he either doesn't have it, or he's just going for Flare Blitz. Either is fine. That does so much damage, and it gets the burn. Not what you like to see, but oh well. This Incineroar is a turn away from fainting at this point, though. Without the burn, Play Rough probably knocks it out, so that's kind of frustrating that I got burned there, but oh well. We know it's Assault Vested, though. So, I think I just want to Play Rough Incineroar and swap out my Incineroar out into Abomasnow. Because at this point, Kangaskhan's burned and at -1 attack, so it's not going to do any damage. If the Incineroar Flare Blitzes my Incineroar slot, which could be a possibility, but it's actually going to end up switching out instead, which is fine by me. Yeah, Feeny comes in. So now I actually do get Abomasnow and Glaceon out at the same time. Let's see if we can pull something off here. Abomasnow's going to come out. Yeah, and now the thing is I actually can like target around my opponent's Kangaskhan slot. Because Incineroar is pretty heavily damaged as well, I actually feel like I'm in an okay spot. As Kang's just going to double edge instead of low kicking. Nice play, but it shouldn't do too much here. Yeah, that really does nothing, actually. And I can actually target around the Kangaskhan now. I do hit the Play Rough, which is fortunate. That does literally nothing. But chip damage is actually important because it means it could be an Energy Ball KO range. And Mimikyu here will faint. As Kang is taking a lot of chip damage, actually. And so now I can actually get a free switch in. The question is, who do I actually want to bring? I'm actually contemplating Glaceon. The only... I should probably survive a Moonblast. Yeah, I'm actually going to bring in Glaceon right now. Because I want to force my opponent's Incineroar to come out before mine does. There's a lot of Incineroar mind games here. So the Queen is finally out. There's Glaceon. Going to go for a Blizzard here, definitely. And I kind of actually want to protect here this turn with the Abomasnow, just to get a free Blizzard off. Yeah, I think I'm going to Mega Evolve and protect. Because my opponent could switch out right now too, but nope, it stays in with both. And you'd imagine if you're my opponent right now, you'd be like, oh man, this like Abomasnow is a really big threat. So let's see. Feeny protects. Okay, that's also good, yeah. Because what this means is now I can target the Feeny safely next turn. So that's good. As it's going to be a double edge. Into the protect. Perfect. And Glaceon gets his first Blizzard off of the day. Very nice. Hopefully this actually doesn't knock out. Oh, Glaceon might, Kangaskhan might actually faint here. Oh, it's really close. I think it will actually hang on, which is in my favor. Yeah, nice. So, now I think I'm just going to Energy Ball Feeny. And I'm actually just going to Shadow Ball as well. There's no need to... Blizzard does cover the switch out options. I could get doubled up into Abomasnow right now. But I don't think that would even knock me out. To be sure, though, I actually could just switch into Incineroar. That might actually be better, yeah. Switch in Incineroar. Guarantee the other Intimidate off. I know it's not Specs Feeny either. I still like this play, yeah. Feeny could switch out, but it's not going to. So this is good. I mean, I guess this is kind of risky because I could be eating up a Muddy Water. But I just know now surely a Abomasnow will hang on from a double up from King and Feeny. Just gonna low kick, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that does nothing. And in a Moonblast, I should survive this. I hope so. No special attack drop, please. Okay, nice. Perfect. No crit, no special attack drop. Yeah, so that Intimidate actually did come into handy. So I will knock out the Feeny cleanly. Nice. So that's a double knockout. As Kangaskhan will faint this turn, now what I can do is swap Abomasnow back out. Or sorry, or Incineroar back out. To win the Intimidate war here against both of my opponent's Pokemon. I think Incineroar... I mean, I haven't won yet necessarily, actually, which makes this still pretty scary. But I will have the upper hand with my Incineroar, as I can switch out and back in. So, yeah, low kick plus Moonblast, coming close, but just missing out the knockout. And Incineroar obviously is quite low on my opponent's end as well. I'm trying to remember, like, did we see its item? Yeah, we did. I knocked it off. That was the Assault Vest. And if it chooses the Flare Blitz, actually, it'll faint real soon, too. I think there are 2 turns of Hail left, yeah. So this is a good time for me to just bring in Glaceon and protect. And I'm in a really good spot right now, because if you Flare Blitz, even if you predict the Glaceon to come in and Flare Blitz it, you'll faint from Recoil. And then Incineroar wins 1v1 against Cresselia any day. So if it low kicks, then that would be a nice play. That would actually be a really nice play. But it's just going to be a fake out into Glaceon. Yep, that's fine. And, ooh! That's cool. Not what I expected, but that's very cool. That's honestly fine, though. I mean, Ice Beam here should still knock out Incineroar. So I want to swap Abomasnow out. I'm just thinking if there's any way to throw this. I guess, I don't, honestly, like, Incineroar right now is intimidated, I believe. Or it's not intimidated, but it will be when I switch in. And the recoil thing still stays true. So yeah, I'm actually just going to Ice Beam the Incineroar and switch Abomasnow out into my Incineroar. Because I have enough firepower to deal with Cresselia, and if I knock out this Incineroar, I'll win. I know Incineroar doesn't have Protect. I know it was Assault Vested. And I know it doesn't have set of Assault Vest anymore. I also know it will faint from a Flare Blitz if it chooses to Flare Blitz me. So the Sunny Day is kind of a cool tech, but I actually don't think it matters too much at this point in the game. We'll see. As it's going to be... It does have low kick, okay. But that shouldn't knock me out. Yeah, it actually doesn't even come close. Side Shock also shouldn't come close. So I should survive this. Yeah, nice. Get the Ice Beam off, and that should knock out Incineroar. Even if not, Fake Out will knock it out next turn. Perfect. Whew. That was intense. Yeah, I think my opponent actually had an opportunity to win this because he did have the low kick. He just had to predict when things were coming in. So now I want to get the Shadow Ball off, but we'll see if my opponent forfeits. Glaceon actually ended up being a pretty good pick this game, though. I'm pretty happy about it, as my opponent does end up forfeiting. But yeah, I think this game also demonstrates why Will-O-Wisp can be really good on Mimikyu, and I think a lot of players honestly forget about it nowadays. So I can use that to my advantage. and I was able to burn the Kangaskhan, which completely shut it down, and that just was so big. I think my opponent wasn't expecting the me to switch into Incineroar and to knock out Feeny with the Energy Ball cleanly, so that turn really won me the game, I'd say. I felt really good about it after that turn because I was like, okay, now I've got Incineroar against my opponent's low Incineroar and Cresselia, not to mention Abomasnow and Glaceon. So Glaceon actually did put him on a fair amount of pressure this game, be able to threaten with Blizzards immediately, and then protecting Abomasnow ended up being pretty key. The turn Feeny protected as well. So yeah, not the best episode in the sense that I went 1 and 2, but we did it. You know, we haven't taken losses, that many losses with this team, so I think it's really good to reflect on the losses today. Game 1, it was just like me kind of falling into the trap of Gothitelle, not getting the knockout turn 1, and then not playing super well after turn 1. And then that second game, I fell really into defensive play, you know, gave up Snorlax way too early on, and wasn't able to cycle, and also just a lot of good plays from my opponent's end. So yeah, can't feel too bad about the losses today. I think there were some good ones in the sense that my opponents played really well, had good teams, and can definitely take away a lot from it. But yeah, first time taking 2 losses with this team so far, but hopefully we can bounce back in the next episode. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you did enjoy, please share support by leaving a like in the video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.